I do have to say, you win tallest guest.
Of course I do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure you get that a lot.
well, I mean, once you start getting basketball players,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure I'll
Who
lose that
knows?
crown pretty quickly.
Yeah. Trying to get Shaq on, but
Yeah,
he
and
doesn't respond very
I
much.
can't compete with a 7'1" person. I think he's 7'1".
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
He's insane.
Yeah.
But dude, thanks for coming on. It means a lot. I'm
Yeah, of course.
excited to chat with you today, and our good friend Michael Whitaker, he introduced me to you, so grateful for him for that. And he says you have an amazing story, so I'm excited to dive into a little bit of that today.
Yeah, me too, I guess. I wonder what that story is. I guess we'll find out.
I guess we'll find out. Yeah, we'll see if I can pull it out of you. But
Yeah.
yeah, why don't you just introduce yourself? Like, let us know your name and kind of why I had you on today.
Yeah, so I'm Dallin Shurts. I grew up in Oregon, born in Texas. I kind of dwarfed the rest of my family. I got, the best part of the genes there.
Yeah, the tall ones.
Yeah, no, my older sister's 5'2". I always use her as an example that we're not all freakishly tall. I just got lucky.
She's got the genes.
Yeah, but also everything big comes from Texas. And so it's
That's
very
true.
fitting that I was born in Texas. Although I grew up in Oregon, which is kind of like Tracktown, USA.
Yeah.
So exposed to a lot of that culture of running.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, I ran cross country. I played soccer. I did a lot of basketball. So,
Playing lots of sports.
In high school, I was very active, and much to my credit too, which is really good. And there's a reason for that. There's also a lot of studies that support being a multi-sport athlete. Just helps you excel in the sport you really like, and specialize in.
I've actually seen that. Like, not to take the conversation too much off track, but like you've noticed, or I've seen, and I'm sure you've seen this too, but like kids who specialize in, let's just take basketball, for example.
Yeah.
They put them in when they're like 3 years old and get them all the way through high school. And they don't do as well as the kids who like play baseball, football, basketball.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. Just different techniques and
I've seen some of the
coordination.
studies with that because, when you specialize in an event too early or a sport, the chances of injury are just increased. And when you get injured, that's one of the biggest forms of interference for progress.
Yeah.
And so if you can minimize injury, well, you maximize,
The gains.
the gains. So, every weightlifter's biggest fear is catching cold for a week or two.
Yeah.
They just hate it because it's interference. Like, you got to fight through that, and
Right.
your gains just aren't as efficient. But yes, and I would say the biggest thing in track and field that being a multi-sport athlete gives you is, I'm spacing on the name. It's coordination.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you just get used to how your body moves doing
Yeah.
different things, and that's so important, especially in track and field with the technical events like throwing. It's very technical. Pull vault, very technical. If you can just get coordinated
It's huge.
through other events, you just have body awareness, and you just can be aware of what your body's doing in certain positions and how things feel. And when you kind of figure that out, it's a game changer for just efficiency in practice.
Yeah.
Just going forward, because you have those skills.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Was that tough, like you being tall? Because I've heard that is something everyone talks about. Is like, oh yeah, the tall people aren't coordinated. I was told that by my own volleyball coaches.
It's true.
Really?
Tall people are less coordinated when they go through. Well, I mean, okay,
Because you're in a very technical sport.
I haven't read any research articles that support. So hearsay, I'd say probably true. But basketball was the most beneficial thing I could have ever done for track and field.
Interesting. How come?
Because I was so uncoordinated. I just remember kids laughing at me the first couple practices in high school.
Yeah.
Because I would just do things, and people were like, why'd you bounce the ball to the roof? I'm just like, I was trying to guard you.
Yeah. Why not?
I just looked really awkward on the court.
Yeah.
But I improved really quickly because, mindset-wise, okay, story time, right?
Let's go.
Middle school, I hated basketball. My parents made me do it, and I'm just like, oh, why am I playing basketball? Like, I don't want to be in this gym.
Yeah.
And like, we're a musical family. We're all kind of quirky, so I didn't really relate very well with the sports culture, the niche.
Yeah.
You know, that
Yeah.
clique.
100%.
You
I know exactly what you're talking
in
about.
high school. Yeah.
A little
so
bit of the jocks and that kind of stuff.
yeah, and I just didn't fit. But like, physically, I was really blessed to be very athletic because my mom was a runner, and so like,
Okay.
I'd say the cross country group, which is what she loved doing in high school, like
Yeah.
they're quirky. They don't really fit in with like the basketball in I'm probably most schools, right?
I know,
People look at those cross country kids and like, ew, their
man.
slogan, "My sport is your punishment." Like, shut up. Who cares? You know.
Runners, man, they get the worst rap. I mean,
They do.
they have the worst stereotype. I mean, like worst
Yeah.
stereotype. And I'm a runner myself, and I can say that. So, it's
And
brutal.
so, yeah, with that in mind, you know, like I just didn't enjoy that environment because that's not the environment that I grew up in, you know.
Right.
And so in middle school, I just like, no, I don't want to do this in high school. So freshman year, I didn't play basketball, but I come from a very small school, and height is like prime real estate.
Yeah.
For a small school. And our basketball team, I was taller than everybody there.
Dang.
And my graduating class had 83 people.
Whoa.
So like there's like 380 people total in our high school,
That's insane.
going from 9th to 12th grade.
That means our graduating class was more than your high school population.
Yeah.
We had like 600, I think.
Easily more. Yeah.
insane.
I knew everybody. We knew, you know, just everybody knew me and my family,
Yeah.
you know, my siblings, because there were a couple of us in high school at the same time.
So then that
But-
small high school kind of pulled you into basketball again.
Yeah, and the way it did was my basketball coach was also our Spanish teacher, which was the only elective language we had at that school.
Yeah.
So every time I passed in the hallway approaching tryouts,
It's like, it's time.
he's like,
lace up.
"Shurts, you gonna play ball?" And I was like, I don't know. And he just chipped away, and
Yeah.
eventually I didn't even know. I think I'm like, I might as well try out. And I remember him pulling me aside. He's like, "They're gonna be tryouts, but you're gonna make it. Just letting you know, like
Really?
no pressure." Because
He's
he just
like, "I
he just
got
wanted
you."
to work with my
Yeah,
height.
he
you know?
needed some
Yeah.
center on the team.
Yeah. So it was pretty funny because I went to tryouts and I made the team. I didn't really think much of it. It wasn't until later when I realized a lot of people try hard to get on basketball teams.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in bigger schools. So being in a smaller school was a really big blessing for me. Just because being tall made sports just so much easier.
Yeah.
Without me realizing it. But yeah, once I got guilt tripped into it, like I hated basketball. I didn't want to be in the gym. Freshman year, I just remember doing cross-country practice and just being grateful I wasn't playing basketball. And here
Yeah.
it was sophomore year. Somehow I was committed. And so very early in that year, I'm like, okay, in theory, when you enjoy your time, it goes by much faster.
Yeah.
And when you hate it, when you're just miserable, the time just goes at a snail's pace.
It's half the time. It slows down to half the pace it usually goes to. It's rough.
Exactly. So I just decided sophomore year that I'm going to just enjoy basketball. And the only way that I could figure at the time to enjoy it was just to focus on any improvement.
Yeah.
Anything that I like, just try to be better every time I was playing ball and doing the drills. So I just kind of obsessed over that.
That's awesome.
And next thing I know, like I got really good really quickly.
Yeah.
That year I ended up swinging for varsity, and
That's cool.
like I was I learned a lot of post moves, and I was putting up a lot of points in JV. And so that's kind of like thinking back, a lot of my mental toughness and resilience, that's a prime example of just like my mentality when it comes to when it comes to improvement and just being better,
Yeah. So when it was like your freshman year, or whenever the first time you played, sophomore year or freshman year? Sorry, I missed that.
Like basketball?
Yeah.
Sophomore year
Sophomore
is when
year.
I went, like in high school, right?
Yeah.
Because I think I played for 2 years in middle school, but
Okay.
that wasn't anything special.
Yeah.
I just kind of didn't enjoy it much.
So I mean, like going from that mindset of like, oh, man, I don't know if I'm gonna play basketball, to being like, you know what, I'm just gonna give this my all. What took the shift? Like, what made the shift? Was it just like, hey, I'm gonna be spending a lot of time doing this. I'm committed to it. Like, I might as well make the most of it. Or like, what went through your head?
That was it. like I was committed, but I wanted those 4 months to go by quickly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the only way I can think of this going by faster is if I just enjoy it. I just gotta suck it up.
Yeah.
And like that really showed me the true power of just mentality. Like people choose to be miserable.
Yeah.
And I decided that like right then I had a history of not enjoying this, but I could choose to enjoy aspects of it that would, you know, eventually led me to enjoy the whole sport.
Yeah.
You know,
That's amazing. Like, we'll definitely dive into that because mentality, I think, in anything you do in life that's the defining factor.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have a strong mind to be able to do hard things. Like, that's really it. And we'll talk about some things that you've done with discus, but anything I've done, like in my life, I always remember, you know, your body's capable, but it's your mind that usually quits first.
yeah.
And so that's huge to learn. So like, what was your transition from, you know, playing basketball, you started to enjoy it, to finding discus? Were you still doing track and field?
So yeah, that sophomore year, I think that mentality carried over, and you know, just one thing after the other. So there, I mean, there's a couple of things that happened during that season, and then basketball ended, and our family visited Utah for vacation for I think during spring break.
Okay.
And during that vacation, we were playing chair soccer. So I got out, right? And if you know what chair soccer is, you have a chair, you guard it, and if the ball hits it, you're out. Okay. Well, I got out, and I, you know, sophomore year, Dallin got a little bit overreacted, you know, just a slight, and he went to kick the ball, and sophomore year Dallin broke his foot because he didn't hit the ball, he hit something else, and it was kind of a crazy break because I had a compound fracture.
No way.
Yeah.
It's not when it snap, like it's a complete fracture,
No,
right?
it's just when it punctures the skin.
Oh, it comes out.
Yeah, so I pulled my shoe off and I looked at my toe. I'm like, wait, is that fat that I see? Because I thought, but
man.
it was too white because I know fat has, you know, is a little bit yellow.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out it was my bone. I should have taken a picture of it because, you know, looking back now, I would have loved to have that in my archive.
Right.
But no.
Dang.
So, you know, we were rushed to the ER and stuff. And I remember my cousins were all worried because, you know,
your bone's sticking out.
Yeah, well, my aunt and uncle didn't want to like be sued by my parents. Of course, we wouldn't do that. But I mean, you know how it is when you get hurt on someone else's property. Everyone gets worried.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, they had nothing to worry about. And I got 2 pins put in, you know, because the bone was so out of place. And I just remember they had to block it so that, like, you know, I didn't feel the pain anymore. And like the broken bone, the way it was blocking the nerve from actually numbing it. So they really had to move that syringe around to actually like numb up my foot. And that was the most painful part of this whole thing. Yeah, that's breaking it was nothing compared to that. But then I was in a boot for like 2 months, and that was right before track and field started.
Really?
So I remember getting back, and I originally wanted to run because, you know, I was running cross country. I was, you know, I ran all winter doing basketball, and the year before I ran the 400, and, you know, I think I was running like 56 seconds in the 400, nothing crazy, but for a freshman, not bad.
Good.
You know?
Yeah, that's fast.
Yeah, so you know, fun stuff like that. I wanted to be a 400 runner. Okay. We had like some other 400 meter runner on the team that I looked up to because I thought he was fast and cool.
Yeah,
so that's what I wanted to do. But you know, with a broken foot, it's really hard to run.
Right.
So I just started throwing discus, and all I could do, in the ring, was just stand there with a boot on and just kind of throw standing.
Yeah.
That's all I did for like the whole season.
Huh.
And then right before, like a meet or two before districts, my boot came off, and I was like, you know what, I can wear shoes now. So I started to spin, and just standing throwing all season actually taught me how to block. And that's just a technical term to really transfer force into the implement.
Okay.
You know, by stopping your left side and all the right just goes forward.
Yeah.
Okay. And because of that, I threw really far on accident. And next thing I know, I got second at districts, and then I got third at state, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm good at this.
Right off getting your boot off.
Yeah, it was like a month from getting my boot off, I PR by like 50 feet.
Jeez.
Well, okay, 30. I was throwing like 100 feet out of a stand through 110. Yeah. And then I threw 157 at state and got third, and I was like, okay, you know what? I think I'm enjoying this more than I thought I would.
That's crazy.
And so, like the wise person I was at the time, I saw that I was good at something and thought, you know what? Maybe I should spend more time doing this. And that's kind of where it all started.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, what you said is really interesting too, because you talked about how you were just standing there throwing.
Yeah.
And then once you got the boot off, you were able to spin, and you PR'd by, what was it, 30 to 50 feet? What was it?
Yeah, 30,
Somewhere
40
around
feet.
there?
Yeah, I threw 120 out of a spin last year, but that whole season, I don't think I broke 110. I think I was just standing like 100 feet, 120.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So is that, are there two types of discus throwing, like one with a spin and one just standing? Or is it?
It's just part of the technique.
Okay.
You know, it all leads to the stand throw.
Yeah.
Like technique-wise, you just go to the front. That's like, and the whole point is just to accelerate and,
Yeah.
you know, generate force in the implement and then hopefully fly it well and have it go far. You know,
That's crazy.
That's the premise of throwing.
Yeah. So, I mean, so after you found this, you're like, okay, I'm going to start really getting after this a little bit. Like, I'm going to focus on it. I'm going to get all my techniques down. Did you take that same mindset you applied to basketball and took it to discus too? Like, I'm just going to find ways to improve.
Yeah, I went all in. I was going to go to this camp called Ironwood Throws Camp up in Idaho. And my mom was looking into that, and she was willing to pay the money to do that. But then she did some more research and realized that one of the coaches that goes up there for that camp was a head throws coach at Concordia College.
Oh, wow.
Community college, I think. And that's just like 30 minutes east of Hood.
Okay.
Like east side of Portland area.
Yeah.
And so that was like a 2-hour drive from my house compared to 12-hour drive from my house, or 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So my mom just contacted him directly, and his name was Jared Rome. He's since passed away, but we went over and he taught me a couple sessions on like how to throw far, and I ate it up, and then I just couldn't stop practicing. I was always spinning on the carpet,
cool.
you know, and with my socks at home.
Yeah.
And, throw shoes on and practice in the garage.
That's so cool.
You know, and it was just a lot of hard work. I tried really hard, you know. Now, I was doing things I didn't realize I was doing well, and the other things that, you know, could have done a little bit better mentally.
Yeah.
But, like, the drive, the work ethic was there. And so once I was able to get to college and had more resources to direct my drive and my work, then efficiency kicked in, and that's where it really got good. But
I think that's awesome. And how cool that you got like a few sessions with that coach, like one-on-one.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
it was nice. A huge resource for me, because it's like been part of the foundation of just my understanding of like the technique, which I obsess over.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all throwers obsess over technique to some degree.
Yeah. And
know?
I mean, that's one thing I want to learn about, is like what actually goes into the throw itself. Because I read that you have 3 cues that you focus on. But I'm curious what those are.
Well, I'd say, 3 cues, like the 3 to 1.
This is from BYU's website, so
right?
Yeah.
Oh, BYU's website about like what I do.
Yeah, it's like,
oh, interesting.
You have 3 cues that you typically go for.
So just I guess on a mental performance standpoint, your brain can really only handle so much when you're actually throwing, because it's a very fast and high speed, high explosive event, right?
Yeah.
And from start to finish, it's really over very quickly, and then the rest of it you can't control, which is just once it leaves your hand,
right?
It's it. You know, you're done, and you just reap the rewards. Hopefully, that reward is a PR at some point.
Yeah.
And so, the 3 cues, you know, is just like what you can handle in the ring. And, you know, the number 3 rule is pretty universal. Like, just like think of 3 simple things that you need to do.
Yeah.
And you're going to find that executing them is going to be far easier, you know?
Yeah.
And then you kind of go a layer deeper, like, well, okay, you got to execute it long enough for it to get into your subconscious. Because that's where you want your technique to be. You don't like, you can't think of every little nuance of throwing when you're throwing, because it'll just overwhelm you, and you won't do anything.
Yeah, which is where practice comes in. Like refining that through that.
And it's like that deliberate practice.
Right.
Right, because you can't just bounce around different technical cues every time you go to practice, because you'll never work on one long enough for it to get in your subconscious for it to benefit you consistently.
Yeah.
And so
Michael taught me about that cue bouncing.
Yeah.
So
it's a big one, and it's one that a lot of people struggle with.
Yeah.
It's fun to coach people from an outside perspective, because they'll go to practice and like, hey coach, I've been working on this. And like, well, what were we working on before? And then I have to ask all these probing questions like, okay, like what's the most relevant cue for you at the moment? You know, like,
how do you simplify
do you think that's the cue, or do you think this other one that you were working on is more relevant? Which one's going to get you to throw furthest now? If you got it down, and maybe what you're talking about, is this cue going to just encompass that as well? Like, can we like get a more efficient cue that takes care of all these little nuances you see in your technique? Yeah. And so, just a little bit of self-research can go a long ways to just be efficient when you practice. Yeah.
What's like an example of a cue?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll give one. Right now, one of the cues that I always go back to for me is just staying low through the whole throw, like from start to finish. I just got to keep my depth and use my legs. The biggest muscles in your body are your legs. Yeah. And so if you can use them really efficiently when you throw, you're going to throw farther, because the biggest muscles in your body are helping your whole body throw furthest, you know. Right. So that's a big one. Another one for me is just getting over the left foot. There's a difference between like sprinting and falling. Yeah. Right. If you don't get over your left foot, then your weight, once the right foot comes off, you just kind of fall back. But if you get over your left, you can just kind of deliberately like sprint into the ring. You're very controlled. Yeah. And so that's one that I always go back to as well. I just always got to get over the left and just keep my depth. Right. And now I've had a lot of other cues as well. I always try to keep it to two very simple things that, if Nick says, oh, well, you're coming up early on the finish and your orbit's dropping and this and that is happening. And I'm just like, okay, sounds like all of that could probably be fixed by me just staying low. Yeah.
Keep it to the basics.
Keep it basics. Yeah. Everyone has to obey the laws of physics.
That is true.
No one is an exception to nature.
That is very true.
Like, yeah, people are like, what's the secret? I'm like, the secret is there's no secret.
Yeah, you do the simple things.
You keep it simple.
Yeah.
Anyone who complicates the throw is probably someone who doesn't understand it well enough.
Right. I love that. It's such an important concept to understand, though, because I do that still to this day. Like, I'll try and overcomplicate my running technique or my nutrition or fuel or whatever it is, recovery. But in the end, it's just like, am I doing the basics? Because usually that gets me there. And so it's interesting. Like, I like what you said about, like, take that self-reflection, think about what you're doing. Like, when you're coaching your students or your athletes, like, is that the most important one, or is there something more basic we could fix to get you there? To that point. So that's interesting. I like that.
The more simple it is, the easier it is to convince your brain that you can easily execute it. Yeah. And if you can just envision yourself easily doing something, it's so much more probable that you're going to do it.
Yeah.
As soon as you think it's hard, guess what you're going to start thinking, and guess how it's going to be for you when you try to do it. Oh, it's hard. Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no. Can I do that? Because it's hard, It may be hard, but guess what? If you think about it in a way that makes it easy, that hard becomes attainable.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
From an outside perspective, throwing is hard. It's really hard.
Yeah.
Like, you see people do what they do, that's not easy. Like, you can't just go in there willy-nilly and do it.
Right.
But from an inside perspective, when you look at it at the right discipline, anyone can squat.
Yeah.
Anyone can be low. Anyone can shift their weight over to the left leg. I don't care who you are, you can do it.
Yeah.
And if you slow down enough that you can actually, like, do it.
Yeah.
And you're not going so fast that your brain just like shuts down and you're like in autopilot, right? You got to slow down enough to be deliberate and really, really stay in that conscious mind.
Yeah.
Then anyone can do it.
Yeah.
And with that being said, like, all of a sudden the sport goes from complicated to, oh, actually this isn't that hard.
Yeah. That's really interesting. It seems like you've studied a lot about the brain and how to talk to your, like, self-talk, all that kind of stuff. Where'd you learn all that from?
Oh, I took Craig Manning's class at BYU.
Okay, there we go. There's another one. Michael said it was great. And so did Ashton, actually.
Yeah.
Both of them said it was amazing. So I think I need to get his book. So sports psychology, all that kind of stuff.
I actually haven't read his book, but I've taken his class twice.
Oh, wow.
I mean, just because.
Yeah.
And a lot of the principles of just, performance psychology, some I found myself instinctively just good at, just because of my background with with basketball.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of skills mentally that I learned through that experience, because that was really pinnacle for me. But yeah, other ones just like doing self-research, you know, a lot of visualizing at night.
Yeah.
There'd be a lot of days where I would practice, and it was a decent practice, you know, like it was really good. It was really self-reflective, and Nick's trying to work on something with me. So I'd go home and he'd send me film, and I'd just sit there on the couch. Instead of doing homework, I would be watching my film.
Just watching, yeah.
And just looking, and I'd just be thinking, what does it feel like to throw far? I don't care about the visuals, because when I throw, my vision just kind of blanks.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very aware of it now. Like, as soon as I like start to accelerate, I just go into autopilot. And so at home, I'm just visualizing, what does it feel like to throw far? And then I'd like, you know, like do like a drill or two, and you know, in like the living room, and then I just like sit down again and watch film, be like, okay, and then I'd, you know, compare the part of my throw that I'm trying to improve with another thrower who's really good at that, you know, at that skill, right? Because you should never copy another thrower. You need to like build your throw off of your own strengths, and so you know, do a little research that way too, and eventually I'd get to the point where I'd find a cue. I'm like, okay, it feels like this. And so I'm going to go to practice tomorrow with that in mind. And so I would do that. And I just remember there were some practices where Nick was like, you know, Nicholas Arani's my coach. I would just throw like 4 meters on average further in that practice.
Really?
And Nick is like, wow, what a great day. I'm like, yeah, you're telling me I'm having a great practice.
Like, this is awesome.
Yeah. And so a lot of those like moments, you know, where I just like have breakthroughs in practice all the time, and it's because I did my homework.
Yeah. I was about to say, like, that's one thing that I think gets, you know, hyped up on social media is some people will look like an overnight success, but they don't see like you watching film, practicing in your living room, watching film again, trying to see what cues you can develop, understanding how throwing feels.
Yeah.
Like all of that goes into, you know, Nick saying, hey, that was a great one. Like, what a good day.
Yeah.
It's all the unseen work that people overlook. So.
And it wasn't just one throw. It was like a consistent practice or 3 or a week. And they just carry on, and like the skill was learned, you know?
Right.
Like I remember one cue that was an overnight success for me, because I think all the work that I put up until then allowed my mental space to just trust it really well. It was a friend of mine, an old teammate. We still disc golf together. His name's Austin Carter, but he suggested a cue called heel knee hip, right? And the idea is to turn the left heel, drop the knee, and push the hip into the ring. Okay. And so I did that, and I threw really far. And the next day there was a track meet at UVU, and I PR'd by 4 meters that year. That's my freshman year. So I went from 50 meters to 54.
Yeah.
And I remember my coach and Cameron Bates and I think Ashton Reiner, they were in California. No, they were in Oregon.
Okay.
Yeah, for a meet out there in Oregon. And or was it in Oregon? I can't remember. But I just know that, you know, once my coach found out, he texted me and he's like, well done, you know. And then I see him the next day, you know, the next week in practice, and he's just like, look, you threw 54 meters. And I'm just like, look at me. I did it.
You're like,
you know?
hey, here it is.
And then, you know, in the meantime, I'm like inside, I'm like, I'm really happy with that weekend. And I know there's a lot more there, because I just feel potential in my technique. I feel potential in my routine. I have a lot to in all the work I've done. So by the end of that season, I threw 58.30.
That's crazy.
Which is, you know, another 4 meters, 30 centimeters.
Yeah, for college, like, what's average numbers?
I don't know. Honestly, don't know. I'd say like 50 meters is pretty good. Okay. You know, like 54 will get you to regionals in Division I. Yeah. And so whatever doesn't, it's hard to say. Yeah, I guess 54 is considered really good. That's top 48 in the West, and probably top 48 in the East. So I'd say like over 100 Division I athletes hit over 54 a year.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and so when I hit 58 that year specifically, 58 was top 10 in the West.
That's insane.
And then I barely made it to nationals that year with the 56. Same mentality. It's just focusing on what I can control in that ring, and just doing those cues. And I just hit one and went 56, and I made it that year. And luckily that year was just enough for me to get in. So.
Yeah. What was your first time at nationals like?
Oh, it was fun. It was in Eugene, Oregon.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, my performance was somewhat underwhelming. I did take some names because I went in placed. I went in as the last person, so I was 20. Yep, I was 24th going in.
Okay.
Everyone that made it through further than me. And then I think I placed 15th or I can't remember. Maybe it was 18th.
I mean, that's pretty good though.
Yeah.
That's a good.
Well, I took some
jump,
names. So,
right.
People that have, through further than me at the regional championships, the prelims.
Yeah.
I guess a couple of them just, were probably in a worse mental state than I was that day. And I just happened to perform a little bit better than they did. But I mean, it was fun.
How'd you handle the pressure then? Because like some people, it sounds like kind of caved in under it.
Yeah, sometimes the cue's off, and that's just how it is. I really enjoyed it though. It was really, it was really fun.
Pumped you up. You're like, let's go. That's
yeah,
awesome.
I was ready for next year, and after that whole year, it's like something changed. I went from just being your regular thrower, and now people were asking me for technical advice, and
that's cool.
And I was like, hold up, I'm like,
I'm still trying to figure this out myself, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure it out. A lot of my understanding is from doing.
Yeah.
There are those who are really good at seeing and understanding, but I've learned this sport fundamentally very well just from throwing far myself.
Yeah.
So
I think until like you actually step on and do it, that's the best way to learn there is like through experience.
Yeah.
Because you can watch, videos, people talking about technique all you want. You could read as many books as you want, but until you actually do it, all that means nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you have to actually do it. And I think that's an important thing to call out is, if there's something you want to try and do out there, like if it's you want to run, you want to throw discus, like just have to start.
Yeah.
And you might look silly in the beginning, but, it's worth it in the end if you're willing to stick with it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you obviously stuck with it. Went to year 2. What was that like?
Year 2.
You kind of know how it's working now.
Year 2. I think it was year 2 that I choked.
Really?
Yeah. So year 2 is really good. I threw over 60 for the first time that year. Wow. I broke the 60-meter barrier, which is really big in discus, right? Everyone wants to throw over 60.
Crazy.
And so I remember that was the meet that Alekna, the current world record holder, threw 66 meters for the first time. That was in San Diego. And that was really fun. And then I also remember at that meet we had the best hamburger ever at some place. It was amazing.
Really? Where was it in California?
I have no idea.
Dang.
I have no idea. But I know that it had like 3 different cuts of meat. And
in the burger?
Yeah.
Let's go.
It was really good.
That sounds good.
It's really good. Throwers, if anything, love food. So
everyone loves food, especially a nice burger. Come on.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
So that was a good day, and then the season went on. And
wait, so you broke the record?
No, the BYU record is 66.
Oh, okay.
Which I eventually broke, but not that year.
Not that year. We'll get to that. I want to hear about that later.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But yeah, the next year I was doing really well, and I went to all these meets, and I was throwing over 60 consistently. It was like 60, 60, 60, and then I threw 61, and that was another PR at Long Beach. And so, I slowly moved up on the top 10 board, and that was really fun. And then regionals rolled around, and I just had a terrible day. I threw like 53 and didn't make it. And I was pretty upset.
Yeah.
And so, shrugged that off my shoulders and went back to BYU, and there's still other competitions to get ready for. There was, I guess, USA, or there was like the Utah Championships or something.
Okay.
USATF, Utah Association, something.
Just all the Utah schools coming together, or
no? It was just like a master. It was just like a USATF meet that was put on it it was at BYU.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So I threw there and I PR'd and threw like 64 meters, and that was like freaking awesome.
That's insane.
So with that PR, I think it was that year. Yeah. That qualified me for USA's that year, the USA Championship in Eugene. Wow. So I'm going back to Eugene now, and this is like a month later. And I'm just happy to be there. Yeah. I'm in the first flight. The second flight has the better throwers. And, I hit over 60 on that first flight, and I managed to get myself into finals, which is the top 8.
Dang. Okay. So were you feeling pressure at this time? or were you just easy under pressure?
I was just happy to make finals there and
Man, that's
chilling.
talent.
And I'm throwing, and Nick, he's giving me cues.
Yeah.
I forget what my cues were for that particular meet, but I know one throw I nailed it, and I threw 62 meters, 32 centimeters, and everyone else was just doing bad that day, and that got me second place.
Dang.
And that was really fun.
Yeah.
And I remember it was Andrew Evans who won. I got second, and then Sam Mattis who got third. And they're all incredible throwers. Really, really fun guys. But because he got second at Nationals, I qualified for a U.S. team.
Really?
Yeah, so that was later that summer. After working in Oregon a little bit to get some money,
Wow.
I went down to the Bahamas.
That's so cool.
For the NACAC, the North America, Central American, Caribbean Championships.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it was really fun.
So what teams go to that? Obviously, like, as many from, I assume Mexico, like.
Yeah, I guess
Brazil.
any country, I guess. I'm not sure how other countries qualify people to send to that competition. I know some countries are just too poor to want to even send, one of their throwers to represent. But like Canada was there.
Okay.
Jamaica was there. Jamaica's a discus throwing powerhouse.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of talented throwers out of Jamaica. We were obviously there. There's Costa Rica, like all those people. Mexico
How did that
was
feel,
there.
representing the great U.S. of A.?
It was bittersweet for one reason. A month before I left to the NACAC, I had this dumb idea that I would throw the hammer, and I sprained my ankle at a 2-degree twist.
No way.
2-degree sprain caused from twisting my ankle, from throwing hammer.
Oh, dang.
So I did a lot of rehab, and I was barely able to throw with the boot on.
Dang.
Well, not a boot. I had I taped it up really tight and stuff, and it was
just
rough.
tough.
Yeah, it was not ideal, but
Man.
I threw 56 meters, despite that, and got to wear the USA jersey and all, and that was really fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, and when you make a U.S. team, maybe you don't know, when you make a U.S. team, you get a package. So they send you like a suitcase full of gear.
Dang, that's so cool.
These right here are from one of the teams that I made.
That is rad.
Yeah, so I wear it all the time. It's comfy. It's like the most comfortable athletic wear I've ever had.
I'd wear it all the time. Be like, hey, I got this for the country sent me this.
And
that's crazy.
It trumps what BYU gets us every year because I could actually get like shirts in long, which for a tall guy like myself is kind of a big deal.
Oh yeah, I always.
Nothing worse than having a shirt that fits, but then like every time you raise your arms, your stomach shows.
Stomach comes out. It's like, oh, that's great. That's awesome.
That was big perk.
Yeah, big perk. Man, that's so cool though. I can't even imagine that. Like that's the dream. Getting sponsored and all that stuff. But
and then after that I was like, let's go.
Yeah.
So the next year I didn't PR that year, but I did really well. I was hitting a really close average. I threw 63.70 I think that year, and at USA's I made placed fifth.
Yeah.
And I guess a couple people above that placed better than me didn't, stuff came up and they didn't want to go to the U.S.
Really?
Make the Pan Americans, which was a U.S. team you could qualify for. So I was selected. It was me and Joe Brown, and he's another great discus thrower, really good friend. And that was fun. But yeah, that was in Santiago. So that was my second U.S. team, and so far it's just the two.
Yeah.
I'd love to make more. U.S. has gotten really good, so we'll see. But those two were great. So
that is so cool.
Really, really fun.
Yeah. So it was the third year, the year that you broke the record?
That was my senior year.
Your senior year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did that happen? Was it just in a championship or like?
Well, a couple years ago, this throwers kind of started to PR a lot in this remote town called Ramona in Oklahoma.
Ramona, Oklahoma.
And why there, right? The reason is because of the wind. Now, any wind anywhere is optimal, but the difference is it's just more consistent there. So you can plan like a year ahead of time.
Yeah.
If you just set up a meet every week, you're going to get really optimal wind.
Yeah.
At some point. And so there was a it got the hype. And then my senior year, they did this world invitational. They started just inviting all these bigger throwers and stuff. And I submitted to go, and obviously, I was accepted, so I went and got to Oklahoma on. I think it was Friday. It was the first meet. I didn't do very well. I threw like 59 meters. There was like no wind that day, so whatever. And then Sunday, there was really great wind that day, and there was a lot of hype. I made finals in probably the best competition of my life. Like I was throwing really far in warm-ups, and I just felt really, really good. Everything was coming together, and I wouldn't say I was flying it really well for the wind, but I was flying it well enough. And when I say flying it, I'm talking about the disc flight because there is aerodynamics involved, just by the shape of the implement.
Right.
And just popped one out there, and it was just a couple centimeters further than Nick's PR, and that was quite a day. It was really fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you still hold that record, right?
Yeah. Well, what's crazy is I can't remember the order, but I think I hit that throw, and then a couple rounds later, Alekna broke the world record.
Really?
Yeah. So I was in that competition when he broke the world record for the first time. And I just remember like the whole competition paused, and they brought out the steel tape, which come to find out they didn't need to do, but they did it that day because I guess we haven't dealt with the world record in discus for so long.
That's crazy.
It's been since the 80s. So, so that happened.
That's so cool.
So, and then I was like,
you've witnessed
last in the, made finals, and he was obviously first because he threw the furthest, and then I was last in lineup. Yeah. So Miklas throws the world record, and guess who's next?
That's crazy.
That was a tough act to follow, but I held my own pretty well. So
yeah, I mean, hey,
can't complain.
Do your best in whatever way you can, but that's amazing, man. That's pretty cool. That's got to be a good feeling.
Yeah, no, it's been a really, really fun ride. I never would have expected in high school that mid-20s Dallin would have experienced all these things and got to know all these incredible throwers. It's been really fun.
Yeah, that's way cool.
Really fun.
How has mindset played into it with just everything that you do?
I don't know. That's a great question. Actually, I do know, but that's such a broad question.
Yeah, that is true. That's very broad.
Yeah, because mindset is like, it's like the air in the room. It's there. Yeah. It smells great, but sometimes you just can't place it. It's like it's like this ethereal thing that's like part of your everyday living.
Yeah.
So mindset. All right, well, let's start with the process because that's really where my love is. I love throwing far in competitions, but I think more than anything, I love the little wins you get every day. And so when I go to practice, I think I just obsess over the potential to have a good throw every time I step in the ring is there. It's just there. Like no one can take that from you.
It's true.
And I think a bad mindset is when people, I guess, define their success based off of the results that you get. And unfortunately, in throwing, sometimes those are far and few between.
Yeah.
When you have results that objectively you would be happy with, like a PR, or you throw at a certain distance.
Yeah.
But for me, like, I really want to know what it feels like physically in the ring.
Yeah.
I want to know what it feels like to throw over 65, 70 meters consistently.
Yeah.
And that's like, sometimes I do lose my focus and, I'm obsessing over results because I really want that. Right. But like, I just want to be able to describe the feeling physically in the ring when that comes off your hand and you just kind of see the flight and you're like, wow, I just did that.
I was going to ask you, how do you describe the feeling?
Powerful. You just feel really efficient. You feel smooth. You feel rhythmical.
Yeah, everything's moving like synchronized almost.
Yeah, that's a hard feeling to describe, honestly, because
Or it's like
I
an
just
orchestra.
do it all the time.
Like you're the orchestrator.
Yeah.
All the instruments are going.
For a while, it felt pain because my knees would hurt, but just from lifting so much. Let's see. When you hit it, you just know off your finger based off of the pressure that you have on your hand.
Interesting.
Like you can feel force.
Yeah.
Force is like this, not to quote Star Wars, but it's this invisible thing, right?
You can always quote Star Wars here.
Yeah. Like, which is mass times acceleration, right?
Yeah.
And so you can feel that when you throw. In my experience, I don't know about other throwers that throw far what they feel, but for me, when I throw far, it's because I feel very efficient. And I just feel the force just transfer so well all to that tip of my finger into the implement, right? When I feel like it's not efficient and it's not going to the finger, it's because I'm pulling away. And so I split your forces.
Yeah.
And so I might have really good speed of release, but it wasn't really transferred very well into the implement.
Yeah. That's so interesting. So it comes off the finger then?
Yeah, I got calluses right here. It actually comes off kind of like the bottom part of the finger there. If it comes off the side, it probably means you're flying it wrong. But if you come off right there, you just can fly it better. There's a little bit more control over flight when it's in the bottom because you're like pushing it like this almost.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
Boom. So.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, you have no, like, it's been fun talking to, like, Michael and Ashton and now you about javelin and now discus because I had no idea how much actually goes into the sport itself. Like, when you're watching it, they do make it look easy because they practice so long.
Yeah.
And the technique, it's like, oh, yeah, I could get out there and throw that. But in reality, it's like if I went out there and threw it, I'd probably get maybe 12 meters. I don't know.
There's one way to know.
Who knows? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But, like, I think it is super interesting, like, understanding how your mind has to be so connected to your body and so in sync with what you're doing. Like, it requires you to be fully present. And that's something I think is a powerful tool to have is being able to be present with what you're doing and, not focusing on the results, which is easier said than done.
You have to focus on the right results.
Yeah.
Right. Because the distance is maybe the wrong result for progress. But the feeling that you chase, I'd say, is the right result to chase.
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah, I like that.
Because if you chase the feeling, which is kind of a direct result of your actions in the ring.
Yeah.
And then the external consequences you can't control. And so, we always go back to Stephen Covey's book, right?
Oh, yeah.
Focus on what you can control. Be proactive. And there's no lesson better than throwing, where proactivity, he has those graphs of circles, focusing on what you can control and your circle of influence increases. Well, if you focus on what happens in the ring and focus a little less on what happens out in the sector where it lands, your focus of your circle of influence is going to increase and you're going to end up influencing a little bit further distances out there. But you have to focus on what you can't control. And you can control when you shift over. And everyone can control being a little lower in the ring. Everyone can control starting a little slower out of the back so that they are set themselves up technique-wise for success on the release. Just simple things that you can control. Yeah. And when you start having those thoughts, you build a lot of confidence. Because when you focus on something that you can't control, you have a lot of confidence that you can do it. But when you focus on something you can't control, like the distance, all of a sudden you lose confidence in your ability to throw far. Yeah. And when that happens, you kind of find yourself in a rut. And that can be hard to get out of. Yeah. Because there's a lot of emotion that's attached with that.
Absolutely.
Negative feedback tends to encourage negative emotions.
Absolutely. That's a hard thing to rein in. And I mean, I deal with that with running all the time. Like, I'll think of the distance I have to go run, like for a training run or something, and it gets, sometimes it's like, man, that's so intimidating. Yeah. And you have to focus on, like, the mile that you're in, because if you start focusing on, hey, I have 18, then your brain's like, I don't know if I can do any more. It's like, well, can you do this one? Yeah. Focus on the one that you're in now. And once you get to that step, like, just keep going.
Exactly.
You just got to slow down. Like, that's a big thing, I think. You focus on what you can control. I love Stoicism. I don't know if you know what Stoicism is, but it's like
Enlighten me. I might know it, but I don't.
it's like all these the old Greek and Roman philosophers, pretty much. They all came up with something called Stoicism. But there was a Roman emperor whose name was Marcus Aurelius, and his famous thing is you can't control what happens to you. You can only control your responses.
Yeah.
It's basically the same thing. It's like, if the weather's bad one day, if it's, you're didn't get as much sleep as you would have liked the night before, like, hey, you can only control how you respond to those things.
Yeah.
And it might not be the result you want, but at least you gave it your effort. At least you tried your best.
Yeah. It makes sense. I love Stephen Covey's 7 Habits book. I've read it multiple times.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite things to quote and bring up is there is a space between stimulus and response. There's a space there. People like to take that space away because that takes away your need for accountability. But whenever there's a stimulus, you have a choice on how you're going to respond.
Absolutely.
Right. And when athletes can own their throw and take accountability, they have a bad throw. Before reacting, sit in that space a little bit.
Yeah.
Widen that space between the stimuli, which could be anything, and that response. And you'll find that, reactively, you're going to not just be so naturally angry. You can process before you make a decision. So
it's a helpful tool to use.
Oh, it's a life tool that you can use in every situation.
Right.
And sports is a great place where you have a lot of opportunity to exercise that skill and practice it. With maybe lower stakes than life.
Right.
A family member is yelling at you and boom, you react, and now you have a grudge for the next 5 years versus you play a basketball game and the ball hits you in the head, and now you have to think if you're going to, swear or if you're just going to sit there and breathe and then just keep going,
Yeah.
And, both of those situations, you can practice that skill, and, I think it carries over.
Absolutely.
In every facet of your life. So, really fun to talk about that.
I mean, there's so many things that I do. One of the reasons I run is because there's so many lessons I learned while doing it that I can apply to other things in life. Like patience. Like if I want to improve, I need to learn how to be patient, because it's going to take a lot of time. It's not going to be overnight. And you have to, like you did, do a lot of that self-reflection. Take some time to think about what's going on and focus on improving that one thing. Same thing with discipline. On the days I don't want to do anything, I still have to show up and get it done. And I'm sure you've run into the same thing with discus.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to do, but I feel like if you can just show up, even if it's not your best, if you just even go through the motions, that's telling your brain that you're the one that's in charge, not your feelings, not how you felt that day or whatever it was.
That's part of that stimulus.
Yeah, exactly.
There are days I wake up and my back just hurts.
Yeah.
And I've come to find out a lot of my chronic back issues have been because of my tight pecs. They just pull my shoulders forward.
Really?
And I sleep all night like that.
Oh, man.
And then I wake up and I'm just like, oh,
Yeah.
It took a while to figure out that trend. But, there are days that I wake up like that and I just hurt. And I'm just like, oof, I guess today is going to be a very slow, technical day in practice. Yeah. And I hear that response because that's usually how I would, interpret that versus someone else that would experience the same pain. They'd be like, well, I guess today is an off day.
Right, exactly.
The difference? And sometimes because of that just perseverance through that, mental fortitude or perseverance through having that kind of mental fortitude, those practices sometimes ended up being the best ones that I've had.
Oh, yeah. It's so interesting.
And then I think back in retrospect, I'm just like, wow, I'm really happy that I fought through that initial discomfort, because that was a great practice and it put me in a freaking good mood today.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to think about this all evening.
Yeah.
And so moments like that, lots of them.
Oh, it's huge.
And it just builds. And so really, really good really good skill to learn.
That's why I always try and work out in the morning first, because if I get up and it's the same battle every day, I'm I don't want to get out of bed. It's warm. My wife's next to me. I don't want to get up and have to go sweat and work out.
Yeah, everything you need is right there. Why do you need to leave?
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
But it's every time I do though, one, I feel better. I'm mentally prepped for the day.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, I overcame something difficult at the start of the day. So like whatever comes my way, hey, so be it. Like I can probably handle it.
Yeah.
It just teaches you a lot. And I love that, like, stimulus versus response. Like you got to just take time to sit with it.
And sometimes the stimulus is nothing. Sometimes the stimulus is, I just want to lay here.
Yeah.
And then you think about it. You're like, okay, nothing is happening.
Yeah.
Do I want this to continue?
Oh, I know. Yeah. I tell myself that all the time. Like, man, I wish I could just like not work for, 2 weeks. And I'm like, I don't think I'd be happy with that, actually. Like, I'd have a hard time.
Yeah, after enough off days where you don't do anything, you realize how much you actually enjoy having stuff to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, with that in mind, I'd much rather do something of my choice and make my schedule busy because I want it to be busy.
Yeah.
And not because like some corporate job wants my schedule to be busy.
For sure.
But that's a whole nother discussion. But yeah.
Oh man, yeah, I could have a discussion about that all day long.
Yeah, a lot of people can.
Yeah, it's brutal. But have there been any other lessons that you've learned through discus that have like bled over into your life, other areas of your life, or anything?
Let me think about that.
I know that's another big question. I'm just throwing them at you today.
Yeah, those are big questions.
Hurling them at you like a discus.
Yeah, let's see. Keep things simple. And, here's a big one, right? When it comes to success, there are certain principles that every successful person follows. Very, very rarely are you an exception to the rule of that. And if you are, there's probably another principle of life that you're really good at that just makes that look less relevant to that individual. Let me expand on that. In throwing, to throw far, there are 3 basic laws of physics in life that you just need to obey. And if you don't obey them, you're not going to throw far.
Yeah.
One is physics. You need to generate force. And mass times acceleration will generate force, right? Because that's the equation for force, right? In physics. And so the longer you can, the more you can accelerate the implement, the more force you generate. And so to accelerate the implement, you have to give it a long path, because the longer you can apply force, the more the more acceleration you generate. And so a lot of technique is resolved around creating a very long path for the discus.
Yeah.
So the longer it is, the more it accelerates. So that's one. Another one is physiology, right? The body just has positions where it generates power more naturally and more efficiently. And if you put yourself out of those positions, theoretically you generate less power.
Yeah.
And if you're stronger, you just have a little bit higher potential for power. Okay. And the other one is aerodynamics. The flight of the discus will obey aerodynamics no matter what you do.
Yeah.
You cannot go out there
Can't change it.
and take a fan and just like chase it and have it flow farther. It's just not an option.
Yeah.
It's like an airplane. You have to fly it in a way where it can catch the wind, it can catch the air, and it's a rotating object, so it will be gyrating, if that's a word.
Just like shaking like that. Is that what you mean?
It rotates. So something that rotates turns, right? And so, like part of the flight of the disc, if it comes out and is rotating, and so it's naturally just going to like turn this way. If you're right-handed, if you're left-handed, it turns this way.
Interesting.
And if it doesn't turn, it's going to decelerate in the air.
Yeah.
Right. And so like those are like the big 3: aerodynamics, physics, and physiology. You just kind of put them together.
Yeah.
Right. And to throw far in discus, to get all that together in application, you have to master 3 things. And some throwers have strengths in one of these 3 things more than others, and so that's why there are nuances in technique.
Yeah.
But essentially, you have to be linear because you're throwing straight into the sector. But the nature of throwing is also circular. So you have to put linearity and circularity together.
Interesting.
But you also have to have rhythm. Because if you don't have rhythm, you disrupt both. And so you have to be linear, you have to be circular, and you have to have rhythm. And those 3 describe every thrower.
Interesting.
right? Some throwers are really, really good at sprinting, and they have just this linear force that's just super explosive.
Yeah.
So, they might not look the best rotationally, but you can see the sprint.
Yeah.
And some throwers don't really have a great sprint, but boy, do they get that circular pop on the discus.
Huh.
But no matter what, if you're throwing over 60 meters, 70 meters, whether you're good at being circular or whether you're good at being rotational or linear, you have rhythm. Bum bum. And if you close your eyes and listen to the discus throw, you hear this dum ba dum. Push off the left, and then the right, or depending if you're right or left-handed, it's this ba dum.
Interesting.
Right. The middle foot lands, and very shortly after, the front block foot lands. And if you hear bum bum, that's not very rhythmical.
You're off.
This is bum ba dum. So watch every thrower that throws far. You're going to see it. If you close your eyes, you're going to hear it.
I'm going to look up some after this.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah.
But that seems, that's super interesting. And, I mean, it ties into what you said about just simple.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you understand
Simple.
the very basics.
Simple.
Those are the very basics. And,
Yeah.
according to you, when you've gone to nationals, you've gone on Team USA, broken the record at BYU, like, that's what you need to do. I think that's smart.
Just keep it simple.
Yeah.
Right?
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep it simple. If life is simple, you're just going to enjoy it more.
Yeah.
The more you complicate it, the less it's enjoyable. I don't know.
It's harder to enjoy.
Yeah.
Much harder.
I mean, you can enjoy the complexity, but with that line of thinking, there's a simplicity to that.
Right.
What do you enjoy? The complexity. Like, okay, like what does that mean? Like, it's just kind of cool,
Yeah. What do you like being busy? I don't know.
And I'm not really that knowledgeable on that to expand on that, but it's just, kind of fun to think about.
I mean, I don't understand people when they like complex lives. I like to keep things very simple. Like, I have a podcast I do. I like to run. I like to hang out with my wife, study my faith, work, whatever. Like,
Need there be more?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, pretty easy stuff, but
yeah.
No, I think that's great, man. One question I always ask my guests before we wrap things up is, what does getting after it mean to you?
Getting after it. I think getting after it, boy, that is that's a thinker. I think getting after it is a mindset of doing it when it's hardest. Because getting after it, no one gets after it when it's easy. But when it's hard and you still do it, then that's where that mentality applies. Because you're getting after it.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's really easy to go to bed.
Yeah.
Are we getting after it when we, get to bed? Maybe if it's early enough.
Yeah.
It can be really hard to get to bed early.
That's true.
Like I'm getting after it on my routine.
Yeah.
You know? I think it applies when there's resistance, when there's interference. And so, yeah, like it involves effort.
Yeah.
And the most effort in any endeavor is when it's hardest.
Absolutely.
So
when there's resistance, you said it.
Yeah, that's what getting after it means for me.
I love it, man. I mean, that's the title of the show.
Yeah.
Yet I've never heard that definition before. And I think there's a lot of truth behind it too.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you said it. You're not going to do it if it's easy. You're not going to have to get after something if it's easy.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to require you overcoming resistance, overcoming adversity, and just pushing yourself. Like, trying to become a little bit better every day. Where can you improve? Focus on that and celebrate the small wins.
Yeah.
So, that's huge.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
Yeah, man. I really appreciate you coming on. Your story has been awesome. Like I've
Thanks.
learned a bunch about discus I didn't.
It really scratches your ego when you have get to talk about yourself for a little bit.
Hey, listen, that's okay. I enjoy it, and that's why we have this is to have people come on, share their stories, and I mean what you shared about like the technicality and all that within the process of throwing the discus and finding ways that you can improve on one thing versus 50 things. Like there's a lot that you said that I think will be very valuable to like the listeners and to anyone who's trying to get after life or make a change, like to be more consistent, to be more disciplined. Like there's a lot that you said that I think will help with that. So it's been awesome.
That's the whole goal. I mean, me and Mike are starting this throw syndicate, and like our whole mission is just to help kids out. And so like the sports psychology and the mental discipline and toughness that we learned just through experience and also through, that course that we took by Craig Manning, that's such a pivotal part of what we're doing. There's just tools that it's just, when do people need them the most? When they're developing and when they're younger. Yeah. And like we just want to be able to help those individuals, and a great catalyst for that is sports.
Yeah, absolutely.
And fortunately, we're both very, very experienced in track and field
too.
And passionate. Yeah. And so like for me, this is a great way to give back, to the community, to everybody. Yeah. Is not only teach the technique, but the mental disciplines of success that allow you to be good, not only in your sport or your discipline, but in life. Absolutely. And that's what sports psychology is, like skills that is applied in sports, but a lot of them transcend to every aspect of your life. Yeah. And I think that's pivotal for kids. If you're coaching high school kids, they need just some mental toughness skills, and sports is a great place to learn them.
Oh yeah.
So
that's a real good place. I still have memories of high school where my coach would make us take our shirts off and run up and down the court, mopping the floor, because that was our punishment. But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you with a stupid story.
No, you're good. Yeah, but that's the point. Like there's better ways and more efficient ways to be good. Right. Instead of punishment, like there's just a lot of things you can do. So that's what we're trying to do is.
Yeah. What's the future of it looking like? Can you guys launch it anytime soon, or?
We'll see. Okay. We'll see. Stuff's in the air. So when there's more, finite proof, I guess. Yeah. We'll announce it, but it's exciting. I'm mostly just excited to be able to provide tools.
Yeah, that's awesome.
To a generation that we enjoyed in college, but isn't very available. Yeah. In high school, and that's those mental skills that they need. That I really, really, embraced when I was in college, and I was like, man, if I could just have this in high school, this would have been pivotal. It would have been great. It would have been really, really good. So, that's part of our mission, and that's a huge aspect of it. But there's, obviously, awesome. Technique. We're be good at what you do, experienced, be able to teach it, and that's part of it. So we'll see.
That's so awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, let me know when it's ready to go, and I'll start shouting you guys out. But you guys are doing cool stuff, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Me too. Yeah,
I think it'll be cool.
It's very much we're laying the groundwork, and it's really exciting. So, who knows? Maybe I won't be at Fidelity very much longer. We'll see.
Who knows? Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be best case scenario, right?
It's I mean that's the thing that like is tough is I talk about that stuff all the time, like trying to go after your dreams, trying to achieve things, and like I'm trying to do it with getting after it. Mm-hmm. Like I'd love to be my full-time job. That would be the dream, where I'm coaching people, doing a podcast, selling shirts, whatever it is. Like you said, giving people the tools to be successful in their races. But to get there, it requires a lot of effort and work and time, and until it comes to fruition, it's like, hey, you just gotta keep working at it. Mm-hmm.
And I think about that, like I want to look back and be like, wow, I worked really hard for this. Yeah. But then I don't want to look back and be like, man, I should have enjoyed it. Like I'm just trying to enjoy every day. Like it's hard. Why don't I just enjoy the challenge of life not being very convenient for me? Yeah. Absolutely. Once it's gotten easier, I'm gonna look back and think, wow, I really took that for granted. Right. And I think that's a really important mindset to have. Life is going to suck sometimes. Absolutely. But why not learn to enjoy just the dredge of life? Yeah. And just like, you can choose to be happy. Might as well be happy while it's hard. Yeah. Then it's going to be so much easier to be happy when it's easy. Yeah. There's and you're going to chase challenges that are healthy for you and fun. And So, yeah, that's a big thing. This has gone through my mind. Like there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And it can be overwhelming sometimes. And then I have to just take a step back and be like, but you know what? I'm okay with this. I enjoy this.
Yeah.
Just like that same mentality in basketball. I'm just going to enjoy the basketball year because it'll be better that way anyway.
I love it, man.
Just take that to life. While it's hard, just choose to have a better attitude. Yeah. It's really that easy. I mean, it's hard, but also it's not that hard.
It's really not. Do you know who Alex Hormozy is?
No.
He's a big business guy, but he has this quote where he says, if you can be in a bad mood for no reason, you can be in a good mood for no reason.
Yeah, okay, I've heard that. Yeah.
Uh-huh. It's it is hard, but not really at the end of the day.
It goes back to that stimuli and response, right?
Yeah.
You have a stimulus, which life is hard.
Right.
It's really easy for that response to naturally just go to begrudgingly, ugh, this sucks.
Yeah.
But you know what? Because there is a choice in between, you could just choose to respond differently.
Right.
You can just choose to be happy. Or respond hopefully, or be the cup is half full instead of the cup is half empty.
Find something to be grateful about.
Exactly, and the power of gratitude is so underrated.
Absolutely.
But that
takes you far.
Oh, it does. It can change a mindset so quickly. There's a lot of power in gratitude that it isn't given enough credit. I
absolutely fully echo that. Gratitude's gotten me through a lot. Even some of the hardest situations in my life. It gets me through a lot. So, gratitude, patience, all that stuff. So, yeah, man. Anything else you want to share before we wrap up?
Oh, I think we got most of it.
There's
a lot of fun stuff we talked about.
I was a little bit bummed we didn't talk about smelling salts, but
see, I've never actually bought smelling salts, but that's something that people have provided me that I've enjoyed being, I've enjoyed the fruits of them secondhand. It really is. And, it's such a shock that I'm just I'm okay with the world that's a little bit less, what's the word?
Amplified or whatever.
Extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that really goes from 0 to 100 very quickly. And then it goes back to 0 because the smelling salts wear away.
Yeah. I mean.
And, yeah.
You now understand why all the strong men do it and stuff, though.
Yeah, I'm a thrower before I'm a lifter. So, I lift to a point, but I try to stay healthy.
Yeah, that's good. So,
yeah.
Well, seriously, man, I really appreciate you coming on. This is an awesome episode. I'm excited for everyone to hear it. And
it'll be fun.
Yeah, I'll link your Instagram and stuff in the bio just so people can check you out, follow you, and see what you're doing. And let me know when Throwing Syndicate goes live, and we'll.
Yeah, we will.
Hype it up.
We got some fun stuff in the works, so
awesome, man.
We'll wait till it gets more, more tangible to start talking about it a little bit more. But it's exciting. That is exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting. I'm looking forward to that day. So
me too. Me and Mike are having so much fun. So,
that's good, dude. Well, seriously, thank you. Thanks for coming on, and everyone else, thank you so much for listening. And as always, keep getting after it.